We're joined live now from Paris by Laila Jerry, a seasoned journalist who has been closely following the unfolding situation in, say, Le Molino. Laila, good evening to you. Now, can you just tell us the abouts of this incident and what is the situation right now?
That the initial information indicate that a young man is currently taking hostage some 3 to 4 persons in an Italian family restaurant that is a pizzeria or a pizza restaurant. In fact, at this point, there are no clients, and the restaurant is just the staff that are there along with the hostages. The initial field investigations officers are around the restaurant right now, establishing a security cordon around the venue. And the initial information named the Bieli in French here are trying to get into negotiations with this person that has taken these individuals hostage. And it seems that this person doesn't really have any kind of registered criminal record at the police department in French, but it seems this person, according to the investigations, has a criminal record in the police department of France, but they don't have any criminal record in the public prosecution authority in France. And the police negotiators have stated that this person has certain pieces of cold steel, but they don't have any kind, or this young man does not have any arms on him. And of course, there are a lot of apprehensions that this person might use this cold steel pieces that he has on him in order to carry out an assault on these individuals. But the situation is quite nebulous. In fact, we don't know whether this person is doing that because of some family issues. Maybe this person has gone through some family issues in the past. Maybe the person is psychologically challenged, and still at this point nobody has clear information about why this young man carried out this unlawful act. But right now the security department in France is trying to get into a negotiation with this person in order to free or to release the hostages.
Now, you said here that the man is not really armed, and that he has no criminal record in the police department. Do we have any idea about about the abouts of this man, or the crime itself, or why is that happening, the individual involved in this incident, and the circumstances that really led to such a situation here?
In fact, this is what the search and interfering forces are trying to do right now here in France. But the initial information state that this person is not really armed, is not carrying any piece of weaponry on him, in other words. But the security officers have stated that this person has a piece of cold steel on him. and he has a knife on him. In other words, he doesn't have a public prosecution file, but the security or the police department said that this person has used drugs in the past and is registered as somebody who consumes drugs in an unlawful manner. But we don't have any information right now around why this incident took place. Maybe this person ran out of drugs. Maybe the restaurant is owned by the parents of this young man, and he's trying to just exploit the situation in order to get money in this way. And still, the security department does not have any confirmed information about why this person did that.
But they're not putting into consideration any kind of it could be a terror attack or something of the sort, right? We're speaking here about just an incident that is taking place here.
In fact, until now, the initial information do not at all state that this is a terroristic attack. It is just a criminal act carried out by a person that could be mentally challenged or maybe has some kind of a behavioral deviation. Maybe this person is a delinquent person, and until now, the security forces didn't state anything about this incident being a terroristic one. The person, it seems, is just carrying out an attack or carrying out an unlawful act just to get money, it seems, because the restaurant is owned by this person's parents, and until now, still, the initial information we have proved that this person could be somebody who's psychologically disordered because he consumes drugs unlawfully.
Right, Mrs. Laila, reports revealed that there is a mediator being dispatched, and so how is he dealing with the situation, and is his approach significant? How are the authorities dealing with the situation so far?
No, up until now, the mediator or the person that is facilitating the negotiations are actually two persons, it's not one person. That's first. Number two, these mediators or negotiators are actually part of the search and interfering forces in France, and so they have expertise in operations, in negotiation operations like these. But up until now, these two mediators or negotiators, they are just trying to get into deliberations about altering the strategy utilized to convince this person to go back on what he's doing and release the hostages. But still, the initial information state that two persons from the search and interfering or response search and response forces are trying to do this negotiation and trying to convince the person to go back on what he's doing.
Now, say Le Molino is a suburban area close to Paris. So what is the response of the local community and media towards this incident?
Issy Molino is a border Paris with the central Paris. It is located to the western south of Paris, but it's very near by to Paris. And in fact, in Issy Molino, there are a lot of TV channels that are covering the incident. In fact, this region is considered some kind of a luxurious area that has some media headquarters, and it's very strange that this suburb has an Italian restaurant owned by an Italian person, and so it is very strange for something that outrageous to happen in an area that is located to the southern west of Paris.
Now, given the public concerns about safety in France, now how might this event really impact discussions police are carrying out with regarding also the security measures and how safe is Paris?
In fact, today security officers in France, today they are facing a lot of challenges, specifically in these days or in the past few days. If you have watched the news, there was a football match between the Israeli team and the French team in the European Nation League, and a Zionist association, in fact, organized or held a secret celebration here in France. And in fact, there are a lot of anti-Semitism accusations being presented to or inflicted upon the French security forces. And so the French security forces are really facing a lot of challenges right now. And today, when you go down the streets in France, you find that a lot of security officers are deployed in a lot of streets, a lot of venues, a lot of shops, because of the security dangers that are now surrounding France. And so we, or the French nationals, the civilians, the regular everyday civilians, are actually having a lot of apprehensions regarding walking down the streets or just taking means of public transportation, because of what happened in the last few days after this match had taken place between Israel and France. And so yeah, that's the situation, the security situation over there.
Now, is the authority there prepared for the various possible scenarios that can be that can come out from this incident?
Most definitely, they are prepared. France has a lot of security capacities to handle such situations, but I'll talk about something here. Last Thursday, when this match took place between Israel and France, the Ministry of Interior here in France, in fact, mandated 4,000 security persons and deployed them in the arena around the stadium, because there were around 13,000 people cheering for these two teams. And so the gendarmerie in France and the security or the police department, they both sent a lot of officers and sub-officers, saying around 4,000, to secure the perimeter of the stadium over there in order to instill security in France or in this specific venue. And this happens as well in a lot of sports events and a lot of cultural events, and we know Paris and France witness a lot of those.
Now, about the suspect himself, getting back to him, did he ask or made any specific demands or spoke about a certain motive behind his act, or anything of that sort? Do we know the abouts of anything that led him to that?
No, up until now, in fact, and after, a couple of hours have passed after he has taken these hostages. In fact, up until now, he hasn't expressed no demands. Still, the initial information this information that is broadcasted by means of mass media in France. But there are a lot of speculations that this person just might be psychologically challenged, or maybe has some kind of family dispute and issues between him and his parents that happen to be the owners of this Italian pizzeria or pizza restaurant. But up until now, they are just trying to convince him to go back on what he's doing.
If I may ask you, what should we be expecting at these upcoming hours, minutes? We are not aware. What should we be expecting, and how have the authorities dealt with such situations before? And are we to expect this to be resolved at this very upcoming moments?
There's a multitude of scenarios here. The first of which is when this person, does not succumb to these negotiators or mediators. And in fact, it seems that this person is just trying to commit suicide by doing this act. And the first scenario is that this person might actually harm these hostages and then commit suicide. The second scenario is that the negotiators or the mediators could manage to convince this person to go back on what he's doing, and everyone's going to be released safely. And the third scenario is when the negotiators or the mediators are able to encourage into the place or break into the place and release the hostages. And everybody exits the place safely, including this young man himself. But up until now, we can't really say that one of these three scenarios is going to unfold for certain. But in fact, in the past, some similar incidents took place in the past in France, and sometimes we found the hostages. We found that the hostages got released safely. In other cases, this didn't happen. Up until now, we don't know what's going to happen.
Right. Police sources here have said that that no customers are among the hostages. So, do we know the abouts of the hostages? Who are they, or what? Why are they? Were they there? Were they workers? Were they family of the suspect? Who are the hostages?
In fact, up until now, the French security authorities said that there is at least 4 hostages existing in the restaurant. And in fact, these individuals are actually among the staff members of the restaurant. But still, the security forces say don't know whether these 4 persons are all staff members or whether the parents of this person are among them. But up until now, the confirmed information is that 3 to 4 persons are over there. This is the confirmed information we have.
So, are the authorities who are dealing with the situation here? Are we speaking here about special units? Are we speaking about tactical teams? Are we speaking about hostage negotiators? And what is the role they are playing in this intervention?
Released, and the person who has taken these individuals released got apprehended. He got apprehended and these individuals got released successfully. We just received this information right now.
So the news right now is that the captives were finally freed, right? Are we? This is the news?
This is the piece of information that got disseminated right now. The hostages got released successfully, and this person, this young man, got apprehended or arrested.
That's great news, of course, and we are so we are so glad that this has happened in such a very short time here. And Ms. Laila Jerry, we thank you so much for being with us and for revealing and reporting the news.